Hi guys, Jeff Westfall here with my stick, and we're going to look at some gripping tricks and tips. There are plenty of grips that you can do with a stick with two hands. They're very useful in certain circumstances, but we're really concentrating on single-handed grips today. Two-handed grip changes are easy to do, they're intuitive. I can do a lot of different things with double grips. That's outside of the scope of what I'm talking about today. When you're holding the weapon with one hand, sometimes your grip becomes tenuous for whatever reason. It's slippery, maybe the impact of your opponent's weapon doesn't quite make it completely dislodged in your hand, but for a second you're in trouble. By playing with some of the drills I'm going to show you today, you may be able to snatch that weapon right back out of space and bring it back to bear. You would never do one of the things I'm going to show you in combat on purpose of your volition. So let's look at the three major grips on the stick. The first major grip is the standard grip. One thing that you'll see some people teach is if you have a puño sticking out, that's useful as a weapon, but it's also useful as a lever for your opponent to strip your weapon and disarm you. So if you don't want that, you grip here. Puño's flush, there's no puño. Or you grip here, and you'll see guys doing this little finger roll. That's a good little trick. It helps you get used to your weapon. That's our standard grip. A slide is when a gravity slide is when I let it slide down to the center. In this case, central baston is the name of this grip. It means the middle of the stick. And I really like this one for fighting in close range. If I'm in a phone booth and I've got this 28-inch stick, this is probably better in close quarters than the longer grip. It also may be a position in which I have the stick because I did a disarm on an opponent, and that's where I had to grab the stick to take it away from him, and for a split second, here's where it is. If he's right here in front of me, I may not have time to switch back down, right? I may have to fight from here. So that's another reason you may want to train with central baston. And finally, we come down here to Susi grip using the gravity slide. And Susi grip, it's called Susi because Susi means key, like I'm opening a door. And this is a grip that a lot of young men think is cool looking. They like it. They've seen ninjas get killed by samurai underneath the arm like that. It's not an intuitive grip. You don't see people playing tennis like this. You don't see people playing baseball like this. But there are times when it can be useful. Again, if I have disarmed my opponent and that's the grip I happen to have after I've taken it away, my opponent's still right here, I may want to be able to use a reverse grip against this fellow before things change and I can change my grip. Another thing I do like about this grip is the reinforced forearm position. It's nice to have the ability to take a bladed weapon or a very heavy weapon that doesn't break my arm when it hits because I've practiced in this position. And so the reverse grip can be useful for that. So let's look at switching from reverse grip to regular grip. What I do here is I get the weapon turning this way. I give it a little twist with my fingers and I just open my hand and re-grip. Now I do the same thing. I start to send the tip back out and I re-grip. It takes a little practice. It's fun to do. And you should, as with everything else, practice both sides. The next one has to do with a certain position my opponent might put me in as he's disarming me. As his arm wraps around my weapon, my shoulder may get externally rotated. And one of my best techniques for pulling this is a hard position to pull this out. But if I were suddenly able to let go, turn my grip around and grab it this way, I'm in great position to pull that weapon out. And so this can be a really useful drill. Again, I'm releasing it, turning my hand, getting essentially the same grip, but choked up, further down the weapon. And for when you learn your counters to the inside snake disarm, that's a really important skill. So these have been some tricks and tips for gripping the stick. I hope you like them. See you later.